All right, we are back for yet another week on Fantasy Football in 5. Last episode, if you haven't seen that, check below. And this episode is going to be kind of special. It's different. We're doing the NFL Playoff Fantasy Rankings. Instead of doing separate studs and duds, we're just ranking each position.
So hit the big red button below. Alright, so to begin the wildcard week rankings, we're going to begin with the quarterbacks, obviously. So I'll go in order. Big Ben, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson.
There's Alex Smith, A.J. McCarron, Teddy Bridgewater, and then Brian Hoyer.
Now Alex Smith brought the Chiefs from a 1-5 team to now 10-6. They're sitting comfortably in the 5th seed as they have a favorable matchup against the Texans. But we ranked him 5th because he's really not a deep passer guy. He's more really conservative. So look for him to check it down to Spencer Ware. Expect him to get the ball a lot to Jeremy Maclin too.
Kirk Cousins, now you're probably wondering why do we have him at number 2? Well, he has come on in the Washington scheme and he has brought them an NFC East title, and the offense has been really potent. He's been passing the ball to Jamison Crowder, Pierre Garçon.
All of his receivers really.
Yeah, all of them. He's spreading the ball out and he's done really well. And we think it'll be a shootout between them and Green Bay, and we think Washington will win.
Alright, so our wide receivers list, it's a long list, 20 receivers. It begins with Antonio Brown, obviously. And then it goes Jeremy Maclin, A.J. Green, DeAndre Hopkins, James Jones, Deshaun Jackson, Doug Baldwin, Pierre Garçon, Martavis Bryant, and Randall Cobb.
Then we have Stephon Diggs, Jamison Crowder, Devontae Adams, Marcus Wheaton, Jermaine Kearse, Jarius Wright, Marvin Jones, Tyler Lockett, Mike Wallace, and Nate Washington.
We have Jamison Crowder, Redskins receiver at 12, simply because he's a real speedy guy and he gets a lot of short receptions from Kirk Cousins, and Cousins will spread the ball out too. So look for Crowder to primarily get the ball in crossing patterns or just deep bombs, down the field, because he's just that quick.
Now we have DeAndre Hopkins at 4, behind A.J. Green, yet still ahead of James Jones, simply because he's had his best season as an NFL player, particularly this season, simply because he's dominated secondaries and he's produced great numbers with any quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And so look for him to get most of the targets in the Houston offense, and he's going to probably score a touchdown or two.
I think so.
All right, for tight ends, starting out we have Tyler Eifert, then Jordan Reed, Travis Kelce, and Kyle Rudolph.
And to finish off, we have Heath Miller, Luke Wilson, Richard Rodgers, and the Ryan Griffin-Chris Fedorowicz duo.
Now, Richard Rodgers is at 7 in our rankings. He's not the main target in Green Bay, and expect them to go more to the receivers in the game, simply because the Redskins are so good at covering tight ends, and they're going to shut down Richard Rodgers.
Mm-hmm. We have Jordan Reed at number 2 from Washington because he's really emerged recently. 5 touchdowns in past, I think, 5 weeks maybe. So super great production from him. Expect that production to continue this week against the Packers. He'll probably score touchdowns, what I'm thinking, and he'll help them probably lead to a win. Alright, so our defensive list begins with the Chiefs, Seahawks, Vikings, and Texans.
It rounds out with the Bengals, Redskins, Packers, and Steelers.
Now the Steelers have a weak secondary, and I would know from watching all their games, but they have a good run defense. That's probably the only silver lining in their defense. But they are playing against A.J. McCarron, rookie with little experience. But just look for A.J. Green to have a really good game against them this week.
Now we have the Vikings at 3. They have produced great numbers, limiting offenses to very little production the past couple of weeks. Even though the Seahawks offense has been rolling as of late, I think the Vikings will be able to shut down a lot of their weapons, and it'll become a really close game in a defensive battle. All right, up next is kickers, because kickers are people too, guys.
Obviously.
So starting off, we have Blair Walsh, then Chris Boswell, Nick Novak, and Stephen Hauschka.
Then to finish off, Mason Crosby, Dustin Hopkins, Cairo Santos, and Mike Nugent.
We have Cairo Santos at number 7. you're wondering why, because he did kick 7 field goals in one game.
And made all 7.
But he is on a Chiefs offense that's probably going to score touchdowns more than field goals, and he hasn't been very consistent as of late. So
It's the same deal with Nick Novak at number 3 with the Texans. They're going to score touchdowns primarily, but he did kick 2 51-yard field goals in their last game in Week 17. So he's been on the uprise lately. So look for him to get plenty of points this week. Alright, that was Fantasy Football in 5. Thank you for watching. We deliver all our fantasy news in 5 minutes because who wouldn't want to watch a 30-minute video on this topic?
amen.
Now, we are participating in the NFL Playoff Challenge. This is our first year doing it for a chance to go to next year's Super Bowl. So here's what our lineup looks like.
At quarterback, we have Carson Palmer starting. At running back, we have Adrian Peterson and David Johnson starting. At wide receiver, we have Antonio Brown and Jeremy Maclin starting. At tight end, we have Jordan Reed. At kicker, we have Cairo Santos. And at defense, we have the Kansas City defense.
If you couldn't tell, we like the Chiefs' chance.